Welcome to the Killer Dirt Podcast, featuring John Nelson, Three-Quarter Sleeve Dan, Brian Lazarus, and Michael Madsen. Oh, fuck yeah.
Hey Josh, this is Eric from KillerDirt.com up here in Washington State.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you doing?
So, you've had a pretty big last couple of days, haven't you?
Yeah, it's real weird. You start thinking about writing a new record, and then you get in the practice room, and you want to kill each other when you're writing the record. And then, then you're in the studio, and then you're trying to think of the name for the record, and then everything's getting pieced together, and, the release date is finally set, and it seems like that date is completely out of grasp. It seems like You're never going to actually reach that date, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's there and gone. So Tuesday was a highly anticipated day for the band. Kyle, our drummer, he flew into Nashville, which is where we had our show on Tuesday night. He's been at home recovering from a bike accident that he got into a few months. So he hasn't been playing with us for the last 3 tours. And he actually flew into Nashville. We had practice at his parents' house. They live in Nashville. And then we went and played the show, and we had some barbecue, and I went out and I bought my copy of Almost Home.
Right.
And it's been really cool. So we're just starting to see like all the reviews online and the feedback and stuff. So it's definitely like we're still in a crazy mindset of all of this shit, just going on right now.
Right. So, I first saw you guys back in 2007 when you were opening for As I Lay Dying, and I was kind of disappointed to see that you guys weren't coming to Washington again. Could you shed some light on why it is you don't make some of these other places?
Really, we focus a lot on doing support tours, going out with bigger bands, and unfortunately when that happens, we have no control over the routing at all. And then we've been touring so much that we haven't had any time to schedule in a headliner for us to get back, up into Washington, and that's the place that we really want to go. Did you see us in Seattle?
Yeah, I saw you in Seattle at the Showbox with August Burns Red and Misery Signals.
Yeah, that's right across the street from that big market, right?
Right. You know the place.
Yeah, I remember that show. It was awesome.
Yeah. You guys tore it up.
Yeah, that was in April or May of last year, and I think the only other time that we came close was, Warped Tour out of the Gorge, which I think is still a few hours away.
Right.
But we have such a heavy, thick touring schedule that we weren't able to schedule another headliner. But now that Almost Home is out, we're already working on a headliner for the beginning of next year, 2010. And Seattle is definitely a spot that we want to make sure we come hit up.
Oh, fantastic. I'm going to be there. Well,
I'll be looking for you.
All right. So let's talk about your new album, Almost Home. So is there any significance behind the title, Almost Home?
Yeah, there's a couple, actually. It's weird because in one sense we look at it as those words are almost like a savior to the band sometimes.
Right.
Like I said, we're touring all the time, or we're, flying to another country, or we're in the studio, or something's going on, and there's always problems. There's always the band breaking down, or there's always problems getting into another country with customs, or there's, equipment problems, or someone getting hurt on the road. And it's like the one thing that always saves us is, the phrase Almost Home is knowing that, all right, well, you know what? No matter what shitstorm we're going through right now, we're going to get home eventually, and it's going to be all over. And, whether we're almost home, meaning, we only have a few days left, or we're almost home, we have 2 weeks left.
Right.
I think it's just one of the things that kind of brings everybody, down from such a negative high sometimes. And on the other hand, the original reason I think why the title was like such a the title that we picked was something that we really wanted to stick with was, when we started the band close to 10 years ago,
Right.
We had no intentions of ever writing a full-length record. We had no intentions of ever releasing a record or going on tour, or had no intentions for this to actually turn into, our careers. And it was just strictly about fun. It was about nothing else. When we played shows, it was great. When we started a tour, we were so excited and stoked. And when we started writing records and actually recording records and having a label put them out, we were, when we saw it developing into a career, we didn't really realize it at the moment. We were just like, yeah, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden, it's our career. And all of a sudden, we're growing up, and it's what we're still doing, and we're still enjoying it. But I think through that process of growing up, with the process of anyone growing up, and whatever life you have, comes the pressures of life and the pressures of growing up. And so sometimes, we let the quote-unquote industry side of things affect our attitude a lot of times where, there's so much bullshit that goes on, obviously on the industry side of things, like, you get bands tell you that you're gonna go on, they're gonna take you out on tour, but then they don't because you didn't sell as many records as some other band did.
The politics of it, yeah.
Bullshit politics, yeah. And we started, I think we really started to let that affect us in a negative way for a little bit. And when Jason, our bass player, when he quit at the end of last year, it was a real frustrating point for everyone. We didn't know if we were going to continue as a band. We didn't know if we were going to write this record. And I think everyone was really confused about what they wanted to do with their lives. And, obviously myself and Kyle and Craig and Drew, decided each decided on their own that this is what we want right now, and this is what we love doing, and we wanted to write another record, but we wanted to get rid of as much bullshit politics that we can,
right,
and really go back full circle to where we were close to 10 years ago with the mindset of like, fuck it, I don't care how many records are sold, I don't care how many online hits we have, I don't care about what tours we get on or that we don't get on. Let's just write a record and let's just have fun, and let's just, if something great happens, then it happens, and if something doesn't happen, that still means that we're going to have a great time, regardless of where we're at in the world. We're not sitting behind a desk hating our lives, contemplating suicide every 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can relate to you there. So I'm looking at my copy of the album here, and the first thing that catches my eye is the album cover. It looks kind of cryptic. You have a keyhole with someone looking through it, 2 snakes, 2 keys, some skeletal arms. Anything significant behind that?
Really,
or does it?
That would all be our friend who designed it. His name is Clark Orr. I think a lot of people are more familiar with the stuff that he does for the clothing company Johnny Cupcakes. Really, it was really cool because we talked to him about doing the record cover, and we told him the name, and we sent him the lyrics, and he read the lyrics, and he sent us back a rough draft of the album cover, the artwork, which was nothing at all what it ended up being. But he had the idea of a keyhole in that original artwork, and that was a piece that everybody really liked. So we told him, like, man, we really like the idea of the keyhole because, whenever you think about home, whenever you think about home, sometimes you think about you're being the one who owns it. It's your own place, and you have that key to get in there. And so he made the keyhole the focal point, and then he just went wild, and it was really cool. We were super stoked whenever we saw the artwork. It's my favorite artwork that we have out of all of our releases.
Oh yeah, I can agree there. It's definitely badass. Okay, so let me ask you, getting a little further into the new album, what would you say is your favorite song off of here?
I know that this will change. I think right now, Sending Signals is my favorite. Mm-hmm. We just started playing that live a couple of nights ago, and it's definitely cool to throw that in the set to break up the heavier, harder stuff that we've been playing in the set. But also we just shot a video for it.
Exactly.